The top 10 richest U.S. presidents in history. It is of no doubt that being a president or to run a country is not an easy job, but the perks associated with the highest office of the United States are extremely impressive. Aside from being the most powerful individual on earth, the most prestigious title of the U.S. enjoys various financial benefits. These days, the President of the U.S. is being paid a handsome salary of $400,000, along with $50,000 annual expense account, non-taxable travel account of $100,000, and $19,000 for entertainment, not counting the other luxurious benefits like access to a country home, a post-presidency pension, casinos, and personal helicopters. We at 10 Town welcome you to our channel, and to keep you informed, motivated, and amused, we are here again today with a list of the top 10 richest U.S. presidents in history. But before we move on, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you'll be notified with our latest videos. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 10. Franklin D. Roosevelt. An American politician who served as the 32nd President of the United States from 1933 until his death in 1945, is the 10th wealthiest president in the history of America. His wealth has been estimated to the extent of $66 million, making him one of the top 10 richest presidents of American history. This great man was not only a politician, but also a trained lawyer, as well as a successful businessman who knows exactly how to make money. During the 1910s, as an assistant secretary of the Navy, by renting out his townhouse and from other investments, he was collectively earning $20,000 a year. This beloved U.S. president, often known as FDR, was mainly famous for his New Deal, which was implemented by him during the Great Depression in response to deal with the worst economic crisis in U.S. history. This New Deal, introduced by him, was the reason behind the relief which millions of Americans experienced after coming out of the financial crisis of the Great Depression. Number 9. Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, the 9th wealthiest president in the history of America, is none other than the 42nd President of the United States. His net worth is $75 million. During his tenure, Clinton signed the North American Free Trade Agreement and also passed HIPAA, CHIP, and welfare reforms. Moreover, the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1993 raised taxes on the wealthy and created a $63 billion budget surplus during his term. Unlike other U.S. presidents, Clinton added about 18.7 million new jobs, poverty rate dropped to 11.3%, and when he left office, home ownership was 67.5%. But regardless of how you feel about his politics, nothing can deny the fact that Bill Clinton is one of the wealthiest presidents in American history. Clinton receives about $1.1 million in 2021, including $219,000 in personal compensation, other benefits, and $237,000 in pensions. He has no travel budget but receives $537,000 for office space. Number 8. Herbert Hoover. The 31st President of the United States, Herbert Clark Hoover, was an American politician, businessman, and a successful mining engineer. Before holding the office as president, he led the Commission for Relief in Belgium, served as the director of the U.S. Food Administration, and the 3rd U.S. Secretary of Commerce. Before even joining the presidency, Hoover was already well known as a mining engineer. His wealth has been estimated to the net of $82 million, but soon after he joined the office, unfortunately the stock market crashed, hence the Great Depression became the primary concern of his presidency. Hoover's wartime policies, as well as the policies he introduced to lift the economy during his presidency, made him one of the most beloved and well-known presidents of the United States. Number 7. Lyndon B. Johnson. The former President of the United States, Lyndon B. Johnson, was an American politician who held his office as the 36th President of the United States from 1963 to 1969. Lyndon Baines Johnson, or LBJ for short, was a Democrat from Texas who served as a United States Representative and as the Majority Leader in the United States Senate. The Great Society, designed by him, proved to be very fruitful in introducing civil rights, Medicare, educational funds, and public services. His war on poverty played a significant role in economic growth, as well as in lifting millions of Americans out of poverty during his administration. This man of great honor is also wonderfully rich, with a net worth equivalent to $108 million, making him one of the top 10 richest U.S. presidents in history. Number 6. James Madison. James Madison Jr. served from 1809 to 1817 and was the 4th President of the United States. This American statesman, diplomat, and philosopher is widely known as the father of the Constitution for his crucial role in drafting and promoting the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. Madison was born into a rich family with an estimated 100 slaves and a 5,000-acre plantation. Madison's father was the largest landowner and a tobacco planter of his time. His maternal grandfather was also a renowned planter and tobacco merchant. All his wealth was later inherited by him. With the help of slave labor and plantations, Madison became extremely wealthy. His wealth is estimated to the net of $112 million, making him one of the richest presidents of all time. Before moving on to the next point, we have a little challenge for you. Let us see how many of you can absolutely smash that like button. Best of luck. Number 5. Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was an American soldier, a lawyer, and a landowner who served as the 7th President of the United States from 1829 to 1837, also known as the People's President. By defeating the British during the War of 1812 in the Battle of New Orleans, Andrew gained the status of a national war hero. Moreover, he destroyed the Second Bank of the United States, founded the Democratic Party, supported individual liberty, and instituted policies that resulted in the forced migration of Native Americans. During his presidency, Jackson sought to advance the rights of the common man against a corrupt aristocracy and to preserve the Union. Despite his remarkable contributions to politics, one cannot deny the fact that Jackson was an extremely rich man. His net worth was approximately $131 million, making him one of the wealthiest presidents in history. Number 4. Theodore Roosevelt. Counting down the richest U.S. presidents of all time, then one cannot really miss the name Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt, also known as Teddy, served as the 26th President of the United States from 1901 to 1909. The youngest president of history was also an American statesman, politician, conservationist, naturalist, historian, and a writer. During the early 20th century, emerging as a prominent leader of the Republican Party while supporting progressive-era policies, Roosevelt worked for the antitrust policy. Roosevelt was impressively rich, as he inherited about $60,000 from his father, having a total net worth of approximately $139 million. He was so respected and well-known that you can see his face depicted on the famous Mount Rushmore alongside the great personalities of history. Number 3. Thomas Jefferson. If you've ever read about the history of the United States, then you must have heard the name of the famous Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson, a spokesman for democracy, was an American founding father, the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, and the 3rd President of the United States from 1801 to 1809. This powerful advocate of liberty was born in one of the most prominent and wealthiest families of Virginia. Being the firstborn child, Jefferson inherited from his father, who was a planter and surveyor, some 5,000 acres of land, around 600 slaves to produce crops, and from his mother, who was a Randolph, a high status in society. His net worth was approximately $234 million, ranking him in as the 3rd wealthiest president in history. Number 2. George Washington. President George Washington, also labeled as the father of his country, was an American political leader, military general, statesman, and founding father who served as the 1st President of the United States from 1789 to 1797. His contributions in the American history were remarkable. During the American Revolution, he commanded the Continental Army, fought in the French and Indian War, and as an elected president, he led the convention that wrote the U.S. Constitution. This national hero was born in one of the wealthiest families of his time. Washington's father was a prosperous planter, and his privilege continued throughout his life. Having a net worth of $580 million, today Washington is counted as one of the richest presidents of American history. Number 1. Donald Trump. Last but not least, Donald Trump, the richest president in American history, is none other than the 45th President of the United States. He owned the Miss Universe brand of beauty pageants and is well known for producing and hosting reality television series The Apprentice. Before entering the office as president, Trump was a successful businessman, owning the Trump Organization, skyscrapers, hotels, casinos, and various golf courses. According to sources, his late father left him approximately $413 million. But this is not the only case. He has his businesses running in more than 4,000 states, having a net worth of $3.7 billion, making him the richest president of American history. And that concludes our list of the 10 richest U.S. presidents in history. Let us know in the comments section below how informative and interesting you found this video. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon.